Excuse me. Well, I'm live, it says, and want to get in here on this new time schedule, daylight saving time, daylight saving times. Hey, Jerome, how are you? First one in here this morning. I hope everything's going good for you. Hey, Jim. Good. Well, people did change their clocks, didn't they? Hey, Patrick. Hey, Jamie, Joey. Yeah, people. Yeah, that's good, Jerome. Yeah. Us Jones boys have to stick together, don't we, Jerome? Oh, me. Yeah, I'm up here. Oh, good gracious, 12 to 18 inches. Well, it's just raining down here. We got a cold rain. It's 36 degrees and raining, and no snow whatsoever. But it's not supposed to get very warm today. That's for sure. It's supposed to only get up to like 41, I think it says. So we're going to have a chilly, rainy day. And I'm glad I got out yesterday and mowed my grass and got a few things done because it's messy looking and chilly looking and everything else out here right now. You got a new, yeah, I saw that. That was a cute little puppy. Yeah, I saw that picture you sent me. Yeah, that's a cute puppy. I like. I guess that's a black lab. Is that what that is? I can't remember now. Yeah, I'm sounding a little bit better. Still a little bit hacky coughing. Oh, yeah. Those turbos, you can have some leaks on those. I don't really get overly concerned unless it's really pouring out of the line and everything. You may have changed the line and everything, but I don't get overly concerned. I mean, that means it is oiling to the turbo. It's just some's escaping and everything. If you hadn't got a line that's just gushing or whatever, if it's just leaking around the fitting and everything, I don't get overly concerned about that because I see them leak there about all the time. Well, I did when I was running trucks. Oh, it's a pit bull. Oh God, I didn't realize that. Look at. Yeah, well, a pit bull can be a cute little dog. I mean, the bulldog family. I used to, uh, when I was young, that's what we had was bulldogs, and I love my little bulldog pups and everything. And now the pit bull's a little bit stockier breed than a regular bulldog, I think. Um, but yeah, they can be made into a uh, nice little pup. Hey Jeff, you're up and early out there in California. Glad to see you're up and everything. I guess that the time changes didn't affect you too bad either, did it? Still getting up early and still checking out all these live podcasts on the East Coast, are you? Me? Yeah, that's good. Well, Patrick, I guess now do y'all observe daylight saving time in Austria, Patrick? Over here, they're getting ready to, well, they're trying to make it permanent. I don't know if they'll get that done or not. Um, it would be really, really dark in the wintertime if they did, but who knows? I don't worry about it too much. Well, thank you, Jim. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better. Yesterday, my son and I, we got out and went down to Anderson, South Carolina, to the big Ryobi sale. Ryobi, uh, or TTI, who owns Ryobi, who owns Milwaukee and Hart and several other tool manufacturers. They have a huge warehouse and they have a headquarters down in Anderson, South Carolina, which is not too awful far from us right here. And my son and I went down to that. So I was able to get out and about, and it was a nice day yesterday. It was a beautiful day, and we got down there and um, bought us a lot of stuff. Bought us a lot of stuff. I bought a battery operated tiller, 40-volt battery operated tiller. I bought a handheld tiller for my wife. I bought everything that would fit my wife's hand, and I really enjoyed it. Oh yeah. Well, Je- Jeff, you got I California is beautiful climate wise. Well, except they're having a mess right now. But I could not stand the the bureaucracy of California right now. I just don't see how anybody could stand to live there, and the taxation and everything. I mean, they're running businesses away in California. I just don't understand it, Jeff. I mean, I feel for you. I mean, I know it's probably been home for you for a long time, and it's hard to break away from home. But gosh, I just don't see how people can survive uh, the bureaucracy and the government out there. I mean, it's so one sided, and and it's getting worse and worse every day. They're here they are. They're talking about doing all these reparations out there. That's going to do nothing but burden the government of California. It's broke now, and now they're. I mean, they unfortunately California can't print money like the United States government can. So I don't understand the logic behind all these taxations and the reparations and everything that they're trying to do out there. It makes no sense. I mean, there's only so much only so much a piece of a pie out there that they can divide up. And so what they're going to do is they're going to throw the burden on the average man out there. They're going to tax him to death, and everything's the rent and everything is so high out in California now. I don't see how a person can afford to stay there. Yeah. Well, I don't know what your ties, are, Jeff, but like I said, I'll just have to feel for you out there. Yeah. Yeah. You can't get a U-Haul in California. They say that they're paying people to take U-Hauls back to California. There's such a shortage of U-Haul trucks out there. I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, the amount of people leaving California going. Well, they showed the graphic the other day. They lost 375,000 people out of California last year. I mean, it's one of the first years, the last couple of years, that population has gone down, and Florida gained about the same amount of people. Now, not everybody went to Florida. I mean, people all over the United States are flocking to Florida, and they're and of course they're coming into the Carolinas too. Our population is growing. We're one of the states that a lot of people are flocking to. Also, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. I mean, all the southern United States is getting an influx of people. Yeah, I know. I tell you what, uh, having insurance on a big truck can be traumatic. I mean, it's just terrible. I wouldn't keep my two big trucks if I didn't have farm insurance on them. I've got a farm tag on my trucks, thank goodness, and I've got two of them. I got a Freightliner and a Volvo that I kept out of my fleet of trucks. They're older trucks too, and non-EGR and easy to work on and that sort of stuff. So that's what I kept out of my fleet. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I hope they don't all shift to the left. I mean, people are getting fed up with those kind of politics and everything. I know that a lot of these dynamics have changed. Like you talk about Texas being a red state, it is, except for like Austin. Austin's a blue city in a red state, and stuff like that. So you got a mixed bag. You got a lot of people. You got lefties, a lot of lefties that moved to Austin, and it has changed the dynamics of that city a lot, and that sort of stuff. And you'll get that all over. I mean, that's like Georgia is primarily a red state, but you got a blue Atlanta right in the middle of the state. I mean, anytime you get these large metropolitan areas, they seem to be blue, and it is what it is. You have to read into it what it is, and I I don't know what the dynamics is going to be in the next few years. We'll wait and see, I guess. Um, I hope that we just get some sanity. I'm not worried about right left so much as I'd like to see everybody kind of come back to the middle a little bit and have some sanity. But we're still very divisive right now. Yeah, there's a lot of drivers that don't want to go to New York or California. I mean, I, basically, when I had my trucks, I bidded everything I had to the southeast because I didn't want to mess with that. I didn't want to mess with everything in the northeast. I mean, you get up into New York and some of that, it was the regulation and everything a little bit different, and it's just simpler down here. So I mean, I like simple trucking, and I like not having all the crazy regulations that you have to deal with. So that's what I did when when I had my trucks. Oh gosh, uh, I can't imagine the last time I drove a tractor trailer truck in Los Angeles area was in the 80s, and I cannot imagine what it's like in 2020 or the 2020s. I mean, it's been 40 years since I drove a tractor trailer in California, and I don't miss it. I didn't like it then. I knew right then I didn't want to go back to doing that. So it's sort of like been there, done that, don't want to do it again. And I can't imagine what it's like now. I mean, it's got to be horrific uh, to to um, to manipulate California roads and everything. I mean, it was just terrible then. And with the growth in 40, I mean I've seen the growth on the East Coast in comparison with Atlanta. Atlanta being somewhat the equivalent of LA on the east. Um, I mean, you get down to Atlanta anytime, night or day. I-85 is bumper to bumper. I mean, it used to be, you get down to Atlanta 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and there wouldn't be that bad of a traffic jam. I mean, you go down there now. I mean, it's like, what's the rush? Where are these people going and coming from? And it blows your mind to see how many people are that mobile at that time of the morning. And I mean, I understand the trucks because we're moving product in and out and trying to have it ready for the next day. But all the cars, I mean, it's a pathetic situation in Atlanta, uh, night and day. I mean, and then in the daytime, especially because you get 8 lanes of traffic going nowhere. I mean, coming to a dead standstill almost, and I just don't get it. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, this the engineering feat they got out in California, partly, I mean, because of the topography and everything, that I they they mismanaged that a lot out there, I think. I mean, I don't understand why they build the roads the way they do out there. Um, I mean, they sort of set themselves up for tragedy, and it's quite apparent. I mean, look what's happening right now with the floods they've got out there. I realize those floods are sort of unprecedented, but I mean, it seems like there's always a mudslide season out there, and I mean, it's they're they're getting impacted with every bad climate they could come up with right now. It looks like rain, snow, everything all at the same time. But it is what it is. I mean, you take the good with the bad there. Yeah. Well, yeah. I keep wondering how bad these homeless people are getting flooded out. I don't know if they're getting flooded out bad enough, but uh, gosh, maybe all that rain will clean up the urine smell up in some of those areas. I mean, it's got to be bad. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, it's like I said, it's a crazy state out there. I just don't understand. Well, and look what happened Friday. One of the largest banks in the U.S. is based out there in the Silicon Valley. That Silicon Valley Bank, uh, SVB or whatever it is, has gone under. Uh, and when you get one that large, I mean, that's almost like uh, what was the big one that about went under in the U. Back in '08? I can't remember. Goldman Sachs. I don't know. One of the big. No, Goldman Sachs is a broker, isn't it? But yeah, we're going to see some changing of the guard and changing of times out there for sure with what they got going on with these banks and bank regulators and the they were big into the um investment groups and everything else. Well, I don't have any more of these. This is a rare one here. This is um, I had a bunch of these made up when I first opened up the Napa store. Of course, I don't have the Napa. I don't have this store anymore. I still own the building, but I don't have the franchise. And I just had these embroidered and everything myself, and I didn't really give a lot of these out. I mean, these were kind of expensive to make, and I like wearing it, and I still like promoting the guys that bought me out and everything. They're great guys, and so I wear my hat, and I've got a couple of shirts say same thing on it and everything. I still wear them around. They're comfortable and good knock around clothes and that sort of stuff. And I still like promoting it locally here. But it's a great hat to wear for me, and covers up most of my uh, bare head, you might say. I don't look as bald or lacking of hair like I do when I wear other things. I mean, it's a comfortable, and that's the reason you see me in this hat a lot. But and I don't have any more of them. I just had a handful of them. I had probably a dozen or so is all I had, and or a couple dozen, and I've either given them all out or used them up or whatever. And I just got a few that I wear around the house here myself. Excuse me. Uh, But I enjoy these hats, and I enjoy uh, I still, like I said, I still am proud of where I took that business and how it grew, and then I sold that business, and the people that have got it now have grown even bigger with it, and I'm very proud of that. I mean that gave me a, a sense of satisfaction that I started. I took over a really run down old Napa store and then moved it to a new building, remodeled the building, and built up the inventory to a pretty about $1 million worth of inventory. Sold it and um, was able to uh, just be a landlord, which is good for me because I can't physically do the day to day operation anymore, and so it's a good thing. Yeah, yeah, I'm not a huge hat collector. Well, because I got a fair amount, I guess. Um, I used to get a lot of vendors would give me their hats, and I've got a good many collected back here in my bedroom. Probably I don't know 20 or 30 different hats, but I end up wearing two or three more than anything. I've got some old FedEx hats I wear, Freightliner hats. I like my freight. I've got several of the Freightliner hats, and I really like them. They're low profile and really got a good feel to them, and so I like those Freightliner hats. And they're gray in color, and so they match anything. So I like that, and then I've got gosh, every manufacturer you can think of, you know, of all kind of different products and everything on hats. But I tend to want to go with the nicer hats, the more comfortable hats than I do the logo and everything. Well, Jim, you must have a good collection too, then, huh? Yeah, I'm. Like I said, I this is sort of a novelty at this point because I don't have many more of these. But it's good to have. I like uh, wearing hats more so now. I guess because of the fact I'm getting balder. I like wearing hats a lot more than I used to, and I guess because the older you get, the harder it is to take whatever mop top you got to make it look decent. And that's my I'm in between there. I mean, I've got enough hair to swirl around a little bit on top, but I don't have a lot to kind of show off. So I've just got what I've got, and as most older men will relate to it, I got some on the sides, got a little bit on the top, and kind of blow dry it and make it look decent for a little bit, but then at least a little bit of wind comes around it's got it all messed up. So I don't have a big bouffant or whatever they would call that. I don't have like my grandson. My grandson has a head full of hair. I mean, he's got a head full of hair right now, and he's got it out longer than I like to see him wear it. But it's the style. So you go with the flow on that, and he's got a thick head full of hair and everything, and I'm envious of that. Of course, I'm envious of his nice thin body and good health too. But I believe I'd rather have that than the hair. But it is what it is. Yeah, I guess the old grass don't grow on busy street. Yeah, Yeah, I'm I'm I stay plenty busy, I guess, for the health and the age I am, and try to stay try to stay healthy now. That's the hard thing is just keeping my health up. I mean, it's a chore. It's a chore, and I went and had some blood work done Friday, and of course, it's showing that. I mean, it didn't give me the results that I wanted. I've already looked at it online, and I need to work on some areas. And of course, I kind of knew I did anyway, but that just reassured me that I did. And you gotta do what you got to do, and our health is key. And the older we get, the harder we have to work to keep our health. That's for sure. Because I don't want to give up. That's for certain. And I'm pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good now, bouncing back myself. Well, I mean, like I said, I didn't know of two. I just thought that S. What's the other one? I knew that SVB. I didn't know what's the second one that crashed. I'm Hey, James, how are you? Yeah, I don't know what's the second one that crashed. I'm not privy to that information. I knew I had SVB, that Silicon Valley Bank. I knew it crashed, but uh, Friday sometime. Oh, it was a small bank. Yeah, I guess it was like some of the others. I mean, they kind of follow suit with whatever. I'm gonna take me a cough drop here so I can quit some of this coughing. Maybe. Yeah. Well, that's as we get older. Yeah. Uh, Surgeries and just all kinds of different things is going to take its toll on us for sure. Yeah, I'm having to take these suck on these cough drops, help knock down some of this coughing I'm doing. Hope it hope I sound better, and I know I can't look better, but I hope I'm sounding better than I have in the past few weeks. Uh, feeling way better. This old COVID and the intestinal virus and everything. I mean, I lost the whole month of February. I mean, uh, I had zero energy, anything, and just laid around. And, didn't eat as much. I did lose some weight, which was good, but that way. Yeah, I was probably looking pale and feeling pale too. I mean, when you're doing nothing but coughing and sneezing and wheezing and just can't breathe and everything else, it was a bad situation. And finally, I got over the majority of it. I mean, originally, I mean, about midway, I couldn't talk as long as I'm talking today. I mean, I'd talk for 5 minutes and I'd be exhausted, and I didn't have energy to do anything. And I would, I mean, there was a couple of weeks there that I didn't get out of the house to go up to see Jim at the shop. I would just call him and ask him what was going on. I know that one week that was really bad. I mean, it was I was laying on the couch or in the recliner, laying on the couch or in the recliner, and that was my existence for almost 2 weeks. It seemed like, and in between going to the bathroom. I mean, that was if everything wasn't in close proximity, I couldn't do it. I mean, it was terrible, but it is what it is. Hey, Scott. Well, I'd like to have some energy and see if it was overrated. Uh, check out the 40 style oak. Oh, you talking about right there? Yeah, uh, that's a. I've got two of them. Like I got one that my father-in-law had in his office. It's a swivel. That one's not a swivel. Um, uh, that he had in his office when he owned a couple of mills, and of course I don't know where it's at right now. I think it's upstairs in the shop. One of the legs kept coming off on it, and I've had to repair it and need to repair it again and get it back out. I like those. I like those old chairs. Used to see those in courtrooms and boardrooms and everywhere else. Yeah, yeah, those are nice chairs like that. Unfortunately, I just got it piled full of tech stuff right now. Oh, is my audio getting choppy? Sorry. I did spin around a little bit. I don't know. How is it? Is the video okay, Jeff? I'll quit moving around so much. Oh, it's your internet. Oh, you hear me fine, James. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad it was on your end, Scott. Oh, I mean, Jeff. Yeah, I hate to see the audio or the video go down in quality, or the content for that matter. I don't want to see the content go down. I'm sort of laid back this morning. I mean, it's one of those mornings where the weather is so crappy outside. I mean, 36 degrees and raining. You can imagine. Of course, like Joey was talking, I'll take that over 12 inches of snow anytime. So I'm not knocking it. I know in our North Carolina mountains, we're getting some snow, and on up into Virginia, I got a friend whose son is a meteorologist up in the Roanoke area, and I saw his forecast of 3 to 6 inches up there in the Roanoke area. So I don't envy any of that. I'll take this cold, dreary rain today that we've got, and of course, because I can turn up the heat and stay up here in my office and enjoy what I'm doing. Like right now, I can sit back and relax and talk to everybody and chat with everybody and feel as warm and cozy as anything. And as long as I don't cough my head off, which I haven't been the last few days, I'm feeling good. Yeah, yeah. Meteorologists, of course, you know that's an occupation. You don't have to get it right. You just guess at it. Give it your best guess. Oh, you talking about the historical building? It's still being there's still bids going up and down. I've gotten out of it myself. I'm not going to bid on it anymore. I mean, it's actually gotten higher than I would even want to put in it. But we're working in the background, still trying to keep it as a museum and not let this guy turn it into a restaurant. But he's putting in his bid, and he's gonna he's gonna do what he's gonna do. So I can't my hands are tied to a certain degree. All I can do is sort of lobby to do the right thing, and we'll see. Hey, Kevin, glad to see you. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Yeah. Well, we're definitely not going to have a high of 70 here. Like I said, I checked the weather just right before I came up here, and they said the high of 41 for us today. I mean, it's raining now, 36, and the high today is supposed to get to 41. So today is a great day to stay inside. No, I don't think I'm not gonna take you up on that and let you have Jim. Jamie. Jim's too valuable. Uh, it's fun going up and seeing what Jim's gotten accomplished every day. Um, he's a great guy to have. I mean, we know what we're supposed to do, and I just go up there and check on him, and he'll show me, yeah, I've done this, and I'll look, and it's great. I mean, he does great work. He's meticulous and does good work on my uh, whether it's my vehicles, my it could be my track hoe or my bobcat or like I say, or these cars we've got. Jim has always been that way. I mean, uh, he's been a great mechanic for me over the years. I mean, he drove for me for a, a majority of the time he was working for me, and then I switched him to the shop, and I should have switched him to the shop even earlier because he's such a good and meticulous mechanic. Snowing in Springfield. Wow. Don't envy you there. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Jamie wants to take over. He wants to capture Jim away from him. But no, I'm not going to go on a cruise. My son and daughter-in-law are going to go on a Carnival cruise line to the Bahamas at the end of the school year for they're doing that as sort of a vacation with their son, since he'll be going off to college at NC State. They're wanting to have their last hurrah, I guess, and so they're going to do that. But I have never wanted to be crowded in to a small area with 6,000 or 7,000 people. I mean, the attitude of being captured in a mall for 6 or 7 days would just be overwhelming to me. I don't like crowds that well. Yeah, yeah, they're going to be empty nesters for sure, because that's their one and only. And they're my son. He and I went, like I said, shopping yesterday at that Ryobi sale, and we have a good long talk because we got 2 hours going down and 2 hours coming back, and we get a lot of good father son talk in, and I'm tickled at what my son has accomplished and how good of a father he is to his son, and we're just I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate, and so it's a good time for me. Oh, good gracious! Yeah, yeah. That's about it. It's about like a prison with boozed up people, and I that's just not my. I don't know. It's some people seem to like it, but just and the fact you you're there. If somebody gets sick and it's contagious, it's going to go rampant through the entire thing, and you could have a miserable time for 4 or 5 days. And I'm not that into that many open bars and open uh, uh, meal bars too. You might say. I mean, the open meals where everybody's eating. It's just sort of reminds me of growing up as a farm boy. As you slop the hogs and you put the feed out there, and all the hogs gather around and eat out of that trough. And I'm not into that trough type eating myself. When I want to get a meal, I want to sit down meal, something that's ordered just for me, and that's sort of my way. I'm not big on going to these uh, all you can eat places. I mean, I've done it and I've enjoyed it, but it's just not my way of wanting to eat and everything. Of course, now when we have family gatherings, that's exactly how you do it. You have the whole family spread, and everybody eats a little bit of this, that, and the other. But a little bit different atmosphere because it's family. So it is what it is. Yeah, that's to me, James. It's just not that's not a vacation that I would look forward to. Yeah. Well, I agree with you there, Scott. I'm not big. I mean, I used to own a place that Hilton had. We owned that for 7 or 8 years, and uh, glad I bought it. Glad I sold it. Sort of like buying a boat. The happiest day of your life is when you buy it, and the second happiest day is when you sell it. And and that's sort of the way I was for our beach condo. I mean, I was very happy to sell it, made a good profit off of it, move on. Don't have to mess with that anymore. Don't have to go down there. Uh, Although my wife and I, we enjoyed it when we were down there, but the after I had my open heart surgery and everything, I mean bypass surgery, uh, I really didn't have the strength and everything to get down there and to deal with that. So I mean, we went about a year and a half without even hardly setting foot there, and then we was paying all those regime fees and you know everything. I mean, it was $10,000 to $12,000 worth of taxes and fees that we were paying just to maintain it, even though we owned the property. I mean, I owned the property outright, and but I still had to pay $10,000 or $12,000 a year to for the maintenance and everything else. So I felt like that was a little bit of a waste of money. And but we got our money back out of it, made a good profit, and we had some good times. So it all has its price, I guess you might say. So that's where it is. Yeah. Well, that's sort of the way I live, Scott. I live on the backside of our farm, and I got trees in all directions around my house. And I got 75 acres uh, separating me. Well, probably more than that because my neighbor has uh, several hundred acres too on the backside of me, and my nearest neighbor is probably uh, a good quarter to half mile away from me uh, in any direction, and I like that. And then I got the privacy. I got our pond in the backyard, and I we love it like that. And so I'm sort of the hermit right there. And my wife and I, we kept saying, uh, we don't need a vacation spot because we live in a vacation spot, in our opinion. I mean, it's just peaceful. Uh, I have every amenity that I want down here. So I'm not lacking in any, you know, amenities that I would want. And to me, that's fantastic when you can do that. And I'm going to live my life out right here in this spot. I don't need to travel. I may travel a little bit. I'd still like to see the Grand Canyon, which I've never seen, and I'd like to see Mount Rushmore, which I've never seen, other than pictures. And those are probably the two natural places that I'd like to see. Uh, I mean, I've been close to all of them. As a truck driver, people say, well, you've been all these different states. Yep. Been 65, 70 miles an hour down the road with a windshield in front of me. And I could see the signs to where all these places were. And that's sort of like my brother. Gosh, I'm trying to, it was not Stone Mountain. Uh, anyway, there's a location, there was something up in Virginia. My brother said, I'm going to go there one day because I keep seeing this sign, Natural Bridge. That's what it was. And he kept seeing the sign for Natural Bridge. He said, I'm going to take my kids up there one day. So he did. He took a little vacation and took off up there to Natural Bridge. And he enjoyed it. He had always seen the signs, and he was going back and forth right through there on 81 every day, and so he'd see it twice a day. And he said that my curiosity got the best of him. He said, I decided I want to go see that. So he took off on a vacation one time and took his children up there. So, you get that curiosity, and unfortunately, like I said, truck drivers have that problem. They get to see all these things in a distance, but they don't actually get to absorb or get to actually feel and see the things. I mean, people ask me, "Have you ever been to the?" My response is, "I've been by it. I've never been to it, but I've been by it." And so, I mean, you've got to be able to stop and smell the roses, as they say. Yeah. Oh, you flew over the Grand Canyon. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to fly over it. Well, I guess I flew over it in a big plane, uh, uh, you know, coming out of a, no, I didn't. I take that back. I flew over to Salt Lakes because I was out in Salt Lake City and we flew over to Salt Lakes, but didn't fly over the Grand Canyon. And of course, I've driven over and flown over the Mississippi and all the rivers and everything going back east and all that sort of stuff. And it's it's funny and it's impressive when you're in a big plane and then you're flying over all these cities and you can see the lights below you and everything, and you wonder what city am I flying over? I kind of wish they had a like a Google Maps thing somewhere where it would let you know. uh, And they may have better technology like that now. It's been years since I've been on a big plane, but they'd let you know exactly where you're flying over. No, you don't want to go to Mexico. I've been to Mexico one time. I went to Cancun back in the early 80s, and I got spooked down there then because of we were out traveling from Chichen Itza, which is where all the Mayan temples are and everything. And I was driving. I was in a Volkswagen VW bus that they had rented down there, our group, and I was the driver. And we were coming back on this small road and small paved road, and there was nothing but big old fields of I don't even know what it was. It was some sort of milo or corn or something on both sides. And I came up, and there were some guys on bicycles. I could see them in the distance, and I rode by them, and every one of them had rifles. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they could blow us away out here. And I floored it when I got by them. And I said, I'm getting the heck out of here real quick. I mean, they could have shot us, blown out our tires. We could have wrecked or whatever, or, killed some of us. Nobody would have known anything. We were in the middle of nowhere. But I wasn't too pleased with that. And evidently, the cartels and everything else now in Mexico have really taken over that country. I mean, it's sort of spooky. I wouldn't go to any place, any of those resorts or anything right now in Mexico. I mean, they could dry up and go away as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's it's funky. Oh man, yeah, I can imagine going over uh, the Grand Canyon at low out, but I'd be spooked to do that because of me. If something went wrong, boy, you'd be down inside the Grand Canyon. And you hear about the helicopter flights into the Grand Canyon, and you don't hear about it as much lately. But I mean, there's been several that have crashed down in there, and I just don't want to be a statistic, you might say. Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I don't trust the Mexican government or anything down there. I mean, you're on your own. I mean, and you got to remember. I mean, some people go down there with the attitude, well, all our laws apply down there, and they don't. They have their own set of rules and regulations, and the local government can do something that you don't know about. And I'm just I I don't feel safe going to Mexico. Yeah, those old VW buses, uh, the old ones back in the 60s and 70s, they 27 horsepower. Of course, I think the buses they had them up to about 30 horsepower. Yeah, they weren't the best. I mean, you try to push that much weight up a hill with 30 or 40 horsepower. I mean, you ain't getting very far, that's for sure. Of course, they're supposedly pretty nice now. I mean, don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. I mean, I wouldn't feel safe even coming close to going to Mexico right now. I mean, uh, they're close enough with the border between Texas and Arizona to suit me. I mean, I couldn't see it. I know I was down on I-10, and when I was coming out of New Mexico, going into Texas years ago, and uh, we ran into a snowstorm down there, and I got a little bit worried. It was getting kind of deep and everything, and I got on the CB, and I said, "Is there any more southern route that I could go?" And the guy came back. He said, "Not in the United States, there isn't, bub." And I said, "Okay." So I was about as far south as I could make it down in there. But yeah, we came out of Arizona and was going in, like I said, in New Mexico, and because of the higher elevation, and you don't realize that the mountain, the plateau, and everything down in New Mexico, a little bit higher elevation, and it was snowing and snowing pretty daggum good, and I wasn't too happy with that, but you do what you have to do. Now, I think, well, it was right around Thanksgiving too. It was right around Thanksgiving. This was back in, oh gosh, I'm trying to think the year. I think it was like 80, around 82, 83, somewhere in that neighborhood. I can't remember exactly. I had to think back. My wife could probably tell me, but I, I wasn't too happy with getting caught in a snowstorm out there for sure. And you see all the drifting and everything else out there on those plains, and the wind's bad anyway. I mean, they got the signs out there in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas about all the crosswinds and stuff, and you can feel it. You can really feel it out there when you're driving a tractor trailer out through there. I mean, any of you guys that have done that, you know what I'm talking about. And you'd see tractor trailers blown over sometimes because a big high gust of wind would come through and just tip you over. I mean, you're a big billboard. You're a big sail, like on a sailboat with a tractor trailer truck. I mean, you got too much side volume, I guess you might say, uh, that when a wind hits it, it's gonna topple it over. You was in Afghanistan in 82 and 83. Oh, me. Huh. I'm glad I never had to do that. Of course, I came up in the Vietnam era, and fortunately for me, I didn't. That's the one lottery I ever won. Is I had a high lottery number, and it never got to me. I think my lottery number was like 325 or 329, something way up there in the 300s. And I never got called. And that was a great thing for me. I mean, I remember when they had the lottery, my mother was sitting there because there was going to be three of her boys eligible for that lottery. My oldest brother, Don, and my brother, just my 2 years older than me, and myself. All three of us, uh, our birthdays were thrown into the lottery. And fortunately, none of us had to. Me and Dee had real high lottery numbers, and Don had a childhood disease that kind of threw him out of a little bit of a disability type thing. Hmm. Well, I tell you what, I'm proud of all you guys that did serve. I mean, my dad and my youngest brother. There's two of us out of our family. My dad was in the 82nd Airborne in World War II. Fought in the Battle of the Bulge. All the horrific. Very fortunate to make it back. And then my youngest brother Perry, the one that's passed away, uh, he was in the Air Force right after Vietnam. He was the youngest of our family. He was 4 years younger than me, and when he went in, they were just coming back from Vietnam, so he got the tail end of that, which was good. I mean, he enjoyed the Air Force and was in there 2 or 3 years, and then got out and then went to work and all that sort of stuff. So he's the only one in our family of the four brothers that actually served in the military, and it did him good. It did him well, and all through his years. Well, guys, I've been on here about an hour, and I am going to call it a day. And I've enjoyed it. Um, y'all take care. Come back and see me next week if you can. And I'll try to put some videos out there. Like I said, I went down to that big sale. I got a few pictures of it down there. I got more involved with trying to buy stuff than I did taking pictures. So I might show a little bit of that if I can. And y'all take care. Catch you later. Y'all be good. See you next Sunday.